looks like the players are ready. We are ready, so let's hop into game one of Clemson versus Syracuse. Let's see, like I said, who's going to come out on top. On paper, Syracuse should just a little bit have the advantage, but Clemson had a pretty good showing yesterday. Obviously some difficult matchups, but like we kept saying, a little bit of signs of life over and over again. And we have been seeing, again, some of these teams that have been showing off and impressing.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you got to think about coming into this matchup is, you know, when Syracuse and Clemson go up against each other, how are they going to go into this matchup? Like you said, on paper, Syracuse does have the advantage, but Clemson clearly heard you because they're going to start off strong with a goal. We're going to see one come out from Mitch right through the Syracuse defenses here, and 13 seconds later, it finds a nice shot to start this series.
Absolutely. And I do want to say that when we look at stats, when we look at things, right, Clemson has been doing well. They have been dominating in several facets, or they've at least been getting into that top 5, and already immediately know this is Patrick will be retorting back with a goal of his own. Look at that empty net. No one is around. Clemson not ready for that center, and just like that, the game is tied up.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, we already talked about how, I already mentioned that I think it's going to go to map 5. We already talked about how this is going to be a close matchup. And in just 30 seconds, these teams, both of them have made a point, and they are even in this series here. Syracuse and Clemson, this orange battle here, are going to be starting off strong, and now it's that bet of who will come out on top here for even match number 1, because that may be the momentum that one of these teams needs to go forward here. But right now, we're going to see a little bit of just some going back and forth for the ball. No one's going to quite find it yet here, and yeah, that's this is Clemson and Syracuse starting off strong in this matchup.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we expected to see, right? We wanted to see this back and forth, and that's exactly what we're getting here. Demos are flying. The players are flying. Gavilan is flying into the net, and Syracuse will find their second of the day.
Yeah, Syracuse now going to start this one off strong, going to be back in the lead here. Clemson did have it at first, but now Syracuse 2 in a row for them, untouched, and 3 minutes and 53 seconds left here. And Clemson going to be looking to try to even this one back up, but Syracuse going to start off strong, try to find another comfort goal to get themselves in the lead some more.
And that's it. I mean, that's what they need to do, because I don't think there's any point in this matchup where you can truly feel comfortable because of how closely matched these two teams are. Snipes going to pass it up top. Heartless will drop it down. And Mitch actually trying to get that shot there. No, this is Patrick. Had an opportunity, but it will be swiped away. Gavilan keeping the attack alive, and look at this Syracuse rotation. They're playing up in the air. They're trying to make something happen. Mitch will, again, another shot near the goal. It's just going to get knocked away. Mason, star 1, gets the touch.
Yeah, and Syracuse going to still have this lead here as we approach that just under 3-minute mark. Clemson needs to find this shot if they want to even up this series against Syracuse. But Syracuse is doing a really good job of keeping this aggression, keeping this power onto Clemson, and not letting Clemson really take that advantage that they want here. As Clemson is still trying to just get it out of their field, and it's kind of difficult for Syracuse. I mean, kind of difficult for Clemson to do that when Syracuse is just sort of chilling midfield and just kind of playing the ball around, playing the time. And when you're only in a 1-goal lead, you know, you may think that's a little bit of a scary option to pick, but when you're a 1-goal lead against two teams that are going to be very close together, sometimes your best option is to just play that defense.
Yeah, sometimes just playing it safe is exactly what you need. And that might be what we're seeing here, or we're just kind of falling into this stalemate where the teams are going back and forth. It's more of a tennis match than soccer. No, this is Patrick trying to get a little bit aggressive, gets in the air, ball gets away. Oh no! I don't know what happened there, but Clemson was just not ready. Does get the touch, and instead, right, no, this is Patrick right there, going to knock it in. I would argue stealing credit, I think. I think that was Gavilan there that had made that initial shot. No, this is Patrick. Didn't actually need to touch the ball, but instead decided to anyways. And with that, Syracuse up 3-1 in the series, trying to make it 4, but it will get stopped.
Yeah, Clemson now needs to make 2 more to set up, and no one's on the goal. No, this is Patrick. Will get there just in time to defend it, but now Clemson can be aggressive, and Heartless will find one and start to bring that point system back up to just a 1-point lead for Syracuse. 1 minute and 40 seconds left. Clemson starting to feel themselves, starting to get back into this groove, and when they're on the aggressive, they can get these shots, and that's what you need to be worried about for Syracuse.
Back to a 1-point differential. Something that I really liked out of that last play is we saw Snipes come down and run interference, bumping the defenders from Syracuse so they didn't have an opportunity to stop that attack, but time is still ticking away. Syracuse still in the lead. Clemson need to take a good possession here, but getting the ball away from Syracuse seems almost impossible.
Yeah, and you know, Syracuse knows that if Clemson can get on the aggressive, they can make the goals. We've seen it twice now. When Clemson has that control, they can easily make these shots. They're very good at just going for the shot and making it. A lot of these teams, you know, can't always find that final goal, but Clemson's one of these teams that if they have control of the ball, they will get that point. And Syracuse knows that. They've been able to tell that in just 3 minutes here, and they know that if Clemson is in charge, that Clemson will take this victory. And that's why you see Syracuse playing this defense, making sure that Clemson is just getting pressured on and on and on. Maybe if you're not making these goals, you're just keeping that pressure on, and that's what's sort of the struggle for Clemson is they need to get control of the ball. But Syracuse with the massive, really good offensive pressure.
Absolutely. 30 seconds remaining. The offensive pressure may be too much at the end of the day. Clemson, like we talked about before, just can't really get a concerted push here. Every time that they try to get a possession, Syracuse is there to block the shot. The flip reset is there. No, this is Patrick trying to get a little bit fancy with it. Can't pass it down to someone else. Mason, star one, will get the touch, will be there with the possession. But again, just knocks it into the corner. Syracuse just needs to waste time. They need to make sure the ball is on the ground. Gavilan gonna try to knock it to the ground. It's staying alive from Clemson. They need to keep it up. This is basically a big game of taps now, and they're not going to find it. Syracuse takes game number 1.
Yeah, and you know, Syracuse, you see them all leave that ball. They did not want to give Clemson the opportunity to get on to that final shot and even up the series. And just like that, Syracuse will take match number 1 in this best of 5, but it definitely was not easy.
No.
Clemson put on that pressure when they had control. They had the shot. They were making some points. And now Clemson's going to be coming back into this one. They know what their strength is, and now they need to play to that strength.
Yeah, and you can collectively see everyone around us kind of sigh of relief, sit back in their chair after game 1 was done, because you could feel the tension, right? Even for practically the entirety of the game, it was just 1 point away. So all it takes is 1 goal, and the story changes. But I will say the story did stay the same for a majority of the game, and that was Syracuse in the lead. Yeah. And Syracuse with that advantage. And Clemson, if they want to take a win, if they want to take it to game 5, or, you know, finish it off by taking us to game 4 even, they need to start getting a little bit more aggressive, start taking control of this ball, keeping possession, and putting shots at Syracuse.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to is when you have a team like Syracuse who is able to just barely have that lead, right? And sort of just say, all right, we're in control, we're going to keep control, and Clemson just trying to get them, trying to get to that point. And that's what we're going to be going into match number 2 here, is having Clemson take that lead, as we are going to be approaching this next match here. No one's made a point as fast as we've seen quite yet in this series, but Clemson going to be a lot more aggressive than we just saw them, and that is the exact type of change I wanted to see from them.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. They also need to protect those corner boosts. They need to make sure that they are getting big boosts so they can stay keeping up to speed with Syracuse and staying in the air. We saw Syracuse get a little bit fancy at the end there. You know, we saw flip resets, we saw some air dribbles, and Clemson needs to do the same. As there's an opportunity, the air will be contested. And now it is up to Mitch to stop it. Mitch is there, will get a touch on the ball, but is running low on boost. Clemson clears it, but again, there's no one there on that rotation. They're going back for boost. They just can't take advantage of when they have the advantage, and now there's no one at the net. Oh, just like that. No, this is Patrick will start things off for Syracuse.
Yeah, no, this is Patrick. Found that open in the Clemson defense. Went straight for it. Heartless just a smidge off of being able to defend that. But Syracuse now going to start this lead, take that advantage against Clemson. And this is a little bit of that deja vu that we just saw. Syracuse only being 1 up from Clemson. But this is still 1 point, right? Clemson can easily take this. And the biggest issue that we're sort of seeing from Clemson right now is their ability that they're just not able to take that aggression. They can't take control. They can't take power over that ball, and that is what needs to change. Clemson needs to be aggressive. They need to take control, work as a team, because we've seen it multiple times. If they can, they make the point. It's not hard for them. They just need to get to that point. Syracuse, however, keeping really good spot. And as I was saying, keeping control. Mitch not going to be able to find it, as we are going to see Gavilan finds that defense. And Syracuse still going to be up 1 in this series.
Something else that we keep seeing from Clemson is a lot of these individual plays where they're taking these shots from half field. They're trying to make something happen from halfway on the field. They're taking these long shots, these aggressive shots, but they aren't working as well as a team. I'd like to see more passes, more kind of back and forth between the teams, and get a little bit closer to the net to make it difficult for Syracuse to stop the onslaught that they want to put out there. And Syracuse going to win that 50-50. They're still here on the aggression here. The defense is good, but for how long? That's the question. Finally, Clemson will get the clear, but Syracuse still has possession of the ball. They're pushing forward. No, this is Patrick trying to get the air dribble started, trying to get the pass down to the teammate, and won't be able to find it just yet. The demo comes out. Syracuse down a member for a couple of seconds, and it will be enough to keep Clemson safe and alive for a little bit longer.
Yeah, and this is what Clemson needs for now, is they just need to keep that aggression on. But Syracuse, with the constant pressure, the constant hitting of that ball straight on to the goal over and over and over again. We're already under halfway into this matchup. Syracuse is the only point in this match number 2, but they are keeping that power, keeping that aggression. They're not making much else right now, but they're keeping that pressure where Clemson just can't do anything. And that is the problem right now, is Clemson cannot get to that point that they want to get to. And that is what the struggle is. Clemson cannot get that aggression. They can't get control because Syracuse is just on them and on them and on them and won't let them take it.
Yeah, but something that we're seeing here, Syracuse running low on boost. We're seeing some mistakes as well. The double commits coming out. Clemson, they need to get, we keep saying aggressive. They need to get aggressive, but they also need to just start touching the ball. They need to start taking advantage of when Syracuse is dropping things, when they're making mistakes, and Clemson just hasn't found those openings just yet.
Yeah, Clemson needs to take this victory here, and as we approach almost a minute here, Syracuse is doing a really good job at just keeping this pressure, keeping this control of the ball. We are going to see that Mitch is going to help push that ball out just a little bit, but Syracuse on these rotations able to just come back around and say, nope, we're going to send another member in to go in for that shot as we do approach that 1 minute mark. Still 1 goal, still very possible for Clemson to bring this back, but Clemson needs to stop Syracuse from touching that ball.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, right, is Syracuse's rotations are just very clean right now. They know what they need to do and how they want to do it. An opportunity there. It will get knocked away. The double commit on the defense ends up working out for Syracuse in their favor. Heartless stops the shot and tries to push forward, but it gets swiped away once again. And this is what we've been seeing all game. Clemson, anytime that they have an opportunity, anytime that they have a possession, it gets snatched away, it gets knocked away from them, and they just can't keep pushing forward. They don't have the momentum to carry them on, and now we're at 15 seconds remaining. Clemson needs to find something. They need to get something started. 10 seconds is running down. Mason Star trying to just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, and just like that, 2 seconds left. The ball is now live until it touches the ground. Once it touches the ground, it is over, and just like that, Syracuse, with 1 point in that victory, just like game number 1, are able to take this match, and now Syracuse, match point for this series.
Match point for the series, and again, it is still that 1 point differential where it is so close, and yet so far, Clemson searching for answers that they can't find. They'll have an opportunity to just sit here and think it over. But for now, we're going to pass it up to the main man in the sky. Kyler is on the floor to talk with some more people and talk through what's been happening. Kyler, tell us what's going on.
Alex, got another spicy recap for you right now just to show you where we're at. USC and UNCC are playing right now as well. USC, the number 2 seed, undefeated out of Group B yesterday, are keeping that momentum rolling into the second day, going off to a quick 1-0 lead, and they are now into the second game of the series right now as well. So it'll be exciting to see if UNCC can bounce back. Certainly a really good team, one of the sleeper ones that we were expecting, I think, in this day 2 to try and make a run to see what they are able to do. Aside from that, look at what we got going on here in terms of our Smash competition. They are showing out absolutely so deep right now. It is awesome to see all of these kids come out again, really start to get their foot into the world of esports and really just come to a place where they can hang out, play again, and compete for a $1,000 prize pool, which, like I said before, if I was a high school student, I don't even know what I would do with that. That was just kind of like, it's pretty crazy. But again, we're so excited to have them have this aspect here at Boost on the Beach as well. It's jumping. It's kicking off, guys, and we are so early into the day. It's only going to be getting better from here. We're appreciative that you guys are here watching and hanging out with us here in person. Alex, Ryan, throwing it back down to you guys.
And thank you so much, Kyler. Like, there is so much happening here that having Kyler able to just give us the rundown, the lowdown on what's going on. Smash is heating up. We're seeing the side stage for Rocket League heating up as well. Even main stage here getting very, very close to finishing, as well as we're heating up in this matchup. This is do or die in the winner's side for Clemson. They need to make something happen. This is match point for Syracuse.
Yeah, and just like that, now Clemson is going to be feeling that pressure, feeling that they need to change if they want to go forward and if they want to truly win this victory here. But it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of aggression, a lot of control from Clemson if they want to be able to take this lead over Syracuse. But Syracuse, they're vibing, right? I mean, yes, that pressure of still being 1-point lead is there, but they know that they've now won twice now with a 1-point lead, and that's just what they want to play for.
Yeah, they have that cushion, if you will, where they know that they could win, or they could lose the next game and the game after that, and they're still good, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, at that point, you would start to be worried about the reverse sweep, but Syracuse has kind of built themselves a little bit of a pillow fort where they have some games to throw away, to lose, but Clemson, on the other hand, this is do or die for them. This is their winner's side run potentially on the line, and they need to go all out to stay on winner's side because, man, that advantage at the end is really all you need. That's exactly what you need in order to secure a victory, especially when you're looking at going up against a team like GMU, who has just been dominant throughout the entirety of this tournament.
Yeah, and you know, that's something you have to be careful of or aware of is with, Syracuse almost going to make that shot. You have to be careful of Clemson, of that reverse sweep from Clemson is, yes, winning this match, you're still fine if you're Syracuse, but if Clemson's able to win 2 in a row here, that momentum starts to shift to that mental momentum. That mental momentum. That's the mental momentum. It starts to say that 5 times fast. Starts to get into your head a little bit, and it starts to sway in the favor of Clemson over Syracuse, they currently have the mental momentum. And that is what you need to sort of be cautious of going in, is Clemson needs to reset. Syracuse can't get too cocky. They need to be aware that Clemson is a formidable opponent, and if they give one sort of small amount of a mess up, Clemson will take that advantage.
Yeah, and while we've been talking, though, Syracuse has been relentless with their offense. They have been relentless with their attack. We have just seen that purple side the entire time, and finally, Syracuse breaks through this wall that was Clemson. Gavilan credited with this score. Past 2 defenders, they just quite couldn't get there in time. Went a little bit far, but Gavilan just putting it right in the corner. Clemson, they did such a great job for that first 2 minutes and 30 seconds of just stopping the attack. But again, it's like we've been talking about. It was just Syracuse attacking over and over and over again, but Snipes coming in with a score for Clemson. That is what they needed to get back into this game, to get back into this series.
That's what I like to call a snipe from my main man, Snipes. Gonna find a nice one there to even up this series. Syracuse had the lead for what, about 12 seconds there, and Clemson's gonna even it up now. Clemson does not want to go in that loser's bracket yet. They want to stay here. They want to continue their run in this winner's bracket. They want to go up against GMU, and they want to go far. They want to go forward. They want to get their time, but Syracuse is going to be that opponent that's going to be in the way, that opponent that's going to be there, as Gavilan, our first-time Lanimal, will be making another shot on the Clemson.
Indeed, and Gavilan just at the right place at the right time. The good rotations from Syracuse have the boost as well. Notice Patrick is up there as well. Kind of crazy that the people that are closest to your goal are two members of the opposing team.
Yeah, maybe not best for the side of Clemson's defense there. That rotation was a little off, but I mean, we just saw it last time. We were able to see Snipes find a nice shot as the ball's going to be on the side of Syracuse. And there you have it, Clemson going to make another one. Snipes with two there, and that one was 17 seconds in, Alexander.
Yeah, I mean, that was a snipe, though. All the way from their goal. Clemson passes it up the field to Snipes, who is there in order to score. No one from Syracuse anywhere near the ball, and this is where we see the aggression from Syracuse is starting to bite them in the back. Right, we're seeing them get aggressive. We're seeing them play up near Clemson's goal, and Clemson takes advantage of that, and no one is there to catch that rotation.
Yeah, and this is a lot of a closer matchup than we've seen in the past, but no, this is Patrick going to find a nice shot to bring Syracuse back up, but this is that snappy back and forth play that you normally see from Speedy, not from these two teams. So, we're going to see that these two teams are going to start having some fun a little bit, but Clemson, Snipes, it's your time, my friend. Got to get back out there and even up this series.
I mean, it's not just Snipes, though. Yes, Snipes has been doing a lot, but you need Mitch, you need Heartless as well to step up to the plate. You need everyone on Clemson to start going in, because we've talked about it before. This is do or die. You need to make this happen, and you need to make it happen now. 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining. Syracuse has already been heating up. No, this is Patrick just doing a great job of winning out on these 50-50s and just keeping up the pressure. No, this is Patrick with a little bit of a fake, but unfortunately it's just going to get taken away. Clemson clears it, but they clear it right into the open arms of Syracuse.
Yeah, 1 minute remaining here. Clemson needs to find this point. You do not want to go 3 maps in a row with Syracuse beating you by 1 point here, as Heartless goes to the shot but won't be able to make it there. Clemson, 45 seconds. This is do or die for you to continue in the winner's bracket. We are going to see a demo is going to come out onto Gavilan, and this is the opening that Clemson may need. The aggression still there, but we are going to see that Heartless able to keep that ball still on the side of Clemson. 30 seconds approaching here, and Clemson still needs to find that final shot to tie up this series.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely heartbreaking. We saw it before. They had the shot, they had the opening, but it was just a little bit high. Gavilan, speaking of going high, ends up going up top. It will get knocked away, but that was almost another goal for Syracuse. Snipes says, fine, I'll do it myself. Centers the ball, sets it up for Clemson. Clemson won't be able to get it there. Instead, Gavilan takes it and is running to the bank with it. It gets knocked away. 1 second remaining. Syracuse just needs to drop it, and they win this series 3-0. Clemson needs to keep it alive, and it gets knocked down. Syracuse wins out 3-0, and I would say in a very convincing fashion.
Yes.
We thought this was going to go to Game 5. These two teams are ranked very, very closely. And yes, that last game was just back and forth, and none of these games were over a 1-point differential. But Syracuse were in the lead all of the time. There was not a point where Clemson had the advantage or were in the lead.
Yeah, and that's something that from the side of Syracuse, as they are going to start shaking hands down here to our left here. Some great sportsmanship from these teams, but that wasn't an easy match for Syracuse, though, right?
No.
It was convincing from their side of being in the lead constantly, but now Clemson, now they want revenge, and they know that if they continue forward in this loser's bracket, that they will see Syracuse one way or another.